Hello everyone, in this video I'll be summarizing everything I did in the 7th week of the 0 to 1 cohort by Harkirat Singh. If you want these updates every week, you can subscribe and let's get right into it. So for the first live class, we learned about routing. So most applications will have multiple routes, not just a single page. So we learned about the React Router DOM library, which is used to manage routes in React. So this is the basic syntax. Everything should be wrapped in a browser router component, and then we have our routes component, and inside that we have our routes. And we also have a use navigate hook through which can be used to navigate through these routes. We also learned about lazy loading, where we can import a user can import only the components that he needs. Next, we learned about prop drilling. It is the syntactic uneasiness that is caused by passing down props to different child components. So let's say we have component C1, and it has a state variable that is also needed by component C3 and component C4. So for passing it down to C4, we also need to pass it down to C2, which is kind of verbose. So uh, we can solve this problem with the context API. We can use the context API to teleport the state from a parent component to a child component directly without passing it down to the intermediate components. So here is the basic syntax for the context API. First, we create the context using the create context function, and then we have to wrap anything that needs the context inside the context provider, and then we can use the use context hook to get the context. In the next live class, we discussed about the limitations of the context API. So when we are using the context API, we can just teleport the state, but the intermediate component still get re-renders, which is a bad thing because nothing's changed in them, so they should not get re-rendered. But when we use context API, they still get re-rendered. So to fix this unnecessary re-rendering, we can use a state management library called Recoil. So here is the basic syntax for using Recoil. In Recoil, we use atoms and selectors. So here is the syntax to write an atom, and we can use the use recoil state, use recoil value, and use recoil set. I think is that it. Use recoil set. Yes, use set recoil state. All of these hooks to sort of handle the recoil state. So for assignments this week, we had a bunch of React assignments set up. As you can see, I completed this para generator one here. This is how mine looks, a bit ugly, as you can clearly see. So this is what it does. You give it a random number and it generates a paragraph that has that number of words. So let me make this 4000. So it generates a paragraph that has 4000 words. This paragraph doesn't mean anything, it's just random words. And I was also trying to do the login via OTP one, but I could not complete it because I'm juggling with time the last couple of weeks because I have my semester exams, and which is also why this video is late. Anyway, moving on, we also had an offline lecture scheduled this week, which was a deeper dive into Recoil. We learned how to send asynchronous queries in Recoil, and also how to set up loadables in Recoil. So this wraps up about everything I did in the 7th week of the cohort. Comment about how your exams went. Hope they went well, and subscribe if you want to follow me on this journey of becoming a better dev every week. Signing out.